Oh, yeah, nigga trying to downplay Lil CK.
Dang. Like how I put some of them nuggets in there. I put some of them nuggets just to get everybody riled up, see if they felt like I was getting them any props.
You sick for leaving me out the conference championship.
I just wanted to, I had to get everybody talking first. All right, man. We got year 5 in review. Year 5 in review, man. We went through 5 seasons in what, 2 months? Like 50 days? 5 seasons in
Hmm.
50 days? That's a record right there. Um, but man, it was a good first 5 seasons. What we gonna do on this jump, man, is go through some of the best teams, best moments, best records, worst teams, worst moments, um, a little bit of everything. So we gonna might say more natty appearances. So we gonna
That's a stat.
you know that's so sick. And man, we're gonna talk a little bit about everything, man. So and we're gonna talk about what's next for the next set of years that's coming up. Um, but we're gonna get started with I posted a few stats in here, man. We're gonna kind of brush through them right quick, to make sure they're correct. So we're gonna start off with conference champs. We'll say the conference champs, man. And when I started doing this before the championship game yesterday, and that's when I started seeing that Oregon had some good numbers overall for them, before they even won the title. So let's go through a little bit. They won 4 out of 5 conference championships. In the Big Ten, 4 out of 5 conference championships, man. Who won the other one? Michigan? I'm trying to think. Or Ohio State. Could have been Ohio State won that joint, I think, because a lot of these coaches ended up going it could have been Michigan too, but what happened? A lot of these coaches end up going to different teams, so it looks a little jumbled up there. But man, Oregon won four conference championships. Shout out to them. UCF and South Carolina won 3 apiece. Um, UCF also made 3 conference. I mean, not only won 3 conference championships, but they went to 3 national title games too, which is
Yeah, be
crazy.
careful with
We'll
that
talk a little
one
bit about.
word.
And then Arizona won 1. No, Arizona won 2 conference championships. This jump, I think what happened, bro. This jump didn't update till after the off season. I think that's what happened. Cause I had did some of this before the off season hit. But Arizona got 2 conference championships. Um, Ole Miss got 1 conference championship, which I think when you win that Ole Miss, you won that in year 2.
I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I just know I
I think
won one.
I think he won it in year 2 because Texas won year 1. I think, and then Texas, they got 1 championship, conference championship. So shout out to them 5 teams, man. You got Arizona that had 2, UCF had 3, South Carolina had 3, Oregon with 4, Texas with 1 in the SEC, and Ole Miss with 1 in the SEC. Shout out to them teams. We're gonna talk about so national championships. We're gonna talk a little about that. We know that Ole Miss won 2 in 2026 and 2028. Michigan won that first one. 2025 computer team won that joint. Tennessee won in 2027, which was the year 3, and then Oregon won 2029. So shout out to them teams. Those are the champions for the first 5 seasons. It's gonna be interesting to see who ends up making that championship list the next 5 seasons, if that's the plan to go to another 5 years. But We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through the show. Looking at, let's see, we got best records, man, best records. So, career records right now. So that jump did update. So that's jump right. 65-12, Ole Miss best record. 65-12, 84% win percentage for the first 5 seasons. You got UCF 64-13 with 83% win percentage. Oregon 63-11. They actually had the highest win. If you go by win percentage, they had the highest win percentage first 5 years. Actually, they just didn't have as many wins as Ole Miss and UCL. Then you had MTSU, 55 wins, 16 losses, 78% win percentage. And then Tennessee, 55 wins, 17 losses, 76 percentile. Looking at the other teams, you had South Carolina. They actually had a 79% win percentage, 54 W's, 14 losses. Texas, 77%. So a lot of teams, man, a lot of these coaches, you had Arizona 47-18, 72%. So for the most part, Purdue 40-25, 61%. So
I'm
Purdue may have been.
You said Oregon had the highest win percentage?
Yeah, they had the highest career win percentage, but because they had less losses than everybody.
That ain't what the graphics say. The graphics say I got 85% win percentage, and he got 84% win percentage.
No, that's what I said. Some of the stuff had updated when like they didn't count. This didn't show BHB's last win. That's why it didn't show the title win. So I'm going on through the broadcast numbers. Like I'm looking at the coach stats now.
Oh, okay.
So so what happened was, like I said, I updated this early yesterday, and basically like a lot of the numbers, like the conference stuff, didn't update till after the off season, and then the career records changed. So you got. Let me go back to this list again. It was somebody. So Purdue was 40-25 with 61%. And I'm trying to see, was that the worst? That was the worst record through the first 5 years so far, if we're not counting any users that were out. I think Purdue had the worst with 61%. So going off best win percentage in general, you got Oregon, Ole Miss, UCL, South Carolina, Georgia, MTSU, Texas, Tennessee, then Notre Dame, Arizona, Kentucky, Michigan, and so forth. So a lot of mix and match there. And then the last one before we kind of get into some of the funny stuff is the playoff record. Ole Miss 11-3 in the playoffs. I think y'all had the best playoff record outside of Michigan. Michigan only made it, I think twice. So they went 4-1 in their first run. But outside of that, Ole Miss best playoff record 11-3. They got 2 titles from that. Tennessee 7-3. They won 1 title from that. UCL 7-5. 75, man. 3 of them being a natty. That's crazy. 3 of the 5 being the natty. Oregon 6-4. Texas 4-5. That's the actual record. I think they got pulled in somehow. Maybe that was TCU record they got pulled into his, but Texas 4-5. MTSU, who was a newcomer into the playoffs after a couple seasons, they 2-2. South Carolina 1-4 in the playoffs. Which that's an interesting tidbit too. South Carolina 1-4 in the playoffs, and Purdue did not make a single playoff. So those are your coaching stats, man. Your coaching stats so far. So CK, I think Kalak on this too, on this jump too. What's your thoughts just based on the coaching stats thus far, reading through the first 5 years and what was accomplished?
Is Kalak in here?
Yeah,
I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of parity in the league, which I think has been good for the league. Been a lot of competitive users. I I can say that there hasn't been one just dominant user throughout the league. I mean, I got the most championships, but that could change. Um, Records are pretty similar. Yeah, I think it's. I think the only thing that really stood out to me was Mike's CFP record being 1-4. I
Mm,
think that's pretty surprising. Considering what he's got, three SEC championships.
mm-hmm. 3 SEC
Yeah,
championship.
yeah. So it's kind of interesting how I guess when the brightest of lights come on, they're just not able to get it done. Uh, I like to see Purdue make a CFP at some point, but um, that remains to be seen. Hell, I like to play Purdue at some point, but that remains to be seen. Uh, I think some pretty high win percentages for everybody. I see Tennessee turn it on too in the CFP. 7-3, pretty good record. Even though it is kind of Have you been to a SEC championship game?
Mm-mm. Well, the first year, I did the first year. I made the SEC championship first year, but
I haven't won a playoff game yet. So I'm very upset about
I forgot about Arizona. What's there? You ain't touch on Arizona record.
I didn't go. So the Arizona was 0 and
it. It was
3.
0-3.
Yeah, Arizona 0 and 3.
Mm, Forgot about them. Well, yeah, that's another statistic that sticks out to me. Them Wildcats, 3 appearances, 0 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you got to take the next step, man.
Yeah,
Got
one
to
thing.
become competitive.
Yeah, one thing I say is, um, MTSU they 2 and 2, so that was a team that I think they won their 2 playoff games this year, right? Yeah, they won their 2 this year.
Would it be Texas? Would it be Texas?
Yeah, Texas and who else did they
No,
beat? No, they
no,
beat South
they
Carolina.
yeah,
Yeah, they beat
they beat
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina and Texas.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, they beat Texas last year, and they beat or they didn't beat Texas the year before last. They beat Texas, and then they beat South Carolina this year. So they actually,
Who beat Texas this year?
um,
You sure? I thought Rico did beat Texas this year.
you might be right. For some reason, I thought he played because I know I had to
Yeah, I
play.
thought they played soon as the
Yeah,
CFP
you
moved.
right, you right, you right. Yeah, so MTSU they got both of their wins this year, but I think this is
Hmm
their
It's their
third
second appearance
playoff.
though. It's their second playoff.
Keno said I won both. Yeah, he won both this year. Okay, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
got
He lost
confused
his
because
he lost his
the
first game last year.
yeah, because the year I played, I thought that was the year I played Kuno in that jump, but he had already, I think he was already in the first round or the second round that year. So that's what happened. Yeah, so MTSU they won 2 this year. But yeah, interesting to see what happened with South Carolina because that's a team they won 3 titles in the toughest conference, ideally, and then 1 playoff win so far. So that's gonna be a team to keep an eye out on for next 5 years. Arizona gonna be another team to keep an eye out next 5 years. Because this is a team they won 2 conference championships. Yep, 2 conference championships. But 0 and 3 in the playoffs right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Arizona on the call right now, but we'll get some thoughts from them a little bit
it. You
later.
did, right?
Oh,
Oh,
Arizona right
okay.
here. Okay. So
Yeah.
Arizona, what's some of your goals going into the next set of seasons coming up after this first 5 years? Do you think this first 5 was a success for Arizona? And then what's the expectation for next 5?
Just think we're in a position.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that we. I wouldn't say that we have underachieved. It's 3 playoff appearances in 5 years for a program like Arizona. I think that it is successful. I just think we got to figure out a way to be more consistent when the game matters most. We have lost a lot of offensive talent. Um, Replenishing, recruiting, getting the right players in here to implement a winning formula long term to kind of push us over the hump is the goal. So next year, of course, postseason is the goal, but also postseason success is the ultimate goal. So we just kind of focus on that. I think we got a pretty good recruiting class. pretty good. Probably the best recruiting class offensively I've had so far this year. We'll see how things go with it, but still to be determined. See,
Okay.
I gotta where we are.
Okay. So Arizona, Arizona understand that the expectations that they set for themselves and they ready, to take on whatever there is to come for the next 5 years. It's gonna be interesting to see after these first 5 years. And one thing that was interesting too is the computer won the first year. So the last four was actually user teams winning, but interesting to see that from the computer. I don't know if we'll see a computer team win again throughout the rest of this franchise, but I thought that was pretty interesting for them to jump out like that as well on us, and that kind of made me think that it was gonna be a computer win again before this first five was up. One last thing we're gonna go over on the coach stats before we kind of get into some other numbers is the draft picks. Draft picks or total draft picks. This was actually led by two computer teams: Georgia with 38 picks, Alabama with 38 picks. And then you had Oregon who had 32 draft picks. They're the first user team. Clemson with 28, Texas with 28, Ole Miss 26, Notre Dame 25, Tennessee 24, Florida 23. I mean, South Carolina 19. Yeah, South Carolina 19. Who else was on here? Next user. UCF 15 draft picks. Arizona 13 picks. Purdue had 11. So this was a, BHB said, recruit that. So, yeah, shout out to Oregon, man. They had 32 draft picks. I know a lot of them niggas was
Nigga did start out
the
pretty
first.
fat.
Yeah, I know a lot of them niggas the first couple of years.
Like, nigga, it did start out with the best team on the game.
But it's crazy how Georgia and Bama got that many just as computer teams. And Bama, like somebody said earlier, they on the hot seat. So they got all these doggone draft picks, but they ain't producing none. They got a 13-14 record against the top 25. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see these next this next set of 5 years, there, because like you said, all the niggas that you started out with pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Now it's the work that you done put in yourself is what you're gonna see from your teams.
Yep. So the cool thing about it is your year 2 recruits should be seniors now for this upcoming year, whether you redshirted them or not. I think that's the case. All right, so now we're gonna look at some of these stats, man. We're gonna start off with the career stats first. So just looking through these first 5 years, I can already see some names that came up. Elijah Mays from UCL, receiving yards, 5,989 yards career. It's crazy. 5,000, almost 6,000 career yards. Hey, passing touchdowns, D'Angelo Rashad from Oregon, 161. And he a junior too, BHB. I think he's supposed to be coming back. So he finna probably dominate that stat. Nick Harbor touchdown catches, 70 touchdown catches. I don't think niggas gonna catch that one either. So those are the pass touchdowns, the touchdown catches, the receiving yards. I don't know if anybody gonna catch them just, bro. I'm really surprised Merriweather didn't get that rushing touchdown record. That's 88 touchdowns from Keenan Reynolds out of Navy. That was a quarterback. Hell,
Damn.
All right, so what we're gonna do now is let's go some of these conferences, man, and see what some of the records that were set for these conferences too. You got Elijah Mays, of course, on receiving yards. Let's see, Elijah Mays touchdown catches, so he leads the Big 12 in touchdown catches for the career, 69. Damn, he almost beat Nick Harbor for real. So Nick Harbor had 70, Mays had 69 touchdowns. So Mays, senior, he was one of the greats. He went to 3 natties too, UCL. So he was one of the greats in that conference, man. Big 10, of course, you got Oregon. Look at those pass yards, dog. 15,570 pass yards. Well, Mike said take that off the bulletin board now. He said, yes, sir, you coming back for all-time passing record. Hell yeah, you about to get that junk. Because what's that junk? The all-time is 19,217.
Mm.
Yeah, so he gonna get that jump. He had 15,570. Evan Stewart, shout out to Evan Stewart, man. He was on my list for top receiver, one of the top receivers in the first 5 years. He put together almost a 4,900 yard year. Um, Taylor Stubblefield, that was on key. Receptions, 325 receptions by Taylor Stubblefield. Oregon, Oregon pass touchdowns right here too. We got 161, and then Jermaine Riggins. I think it's got to be a BHB player. Ain't no way. Yeah, Jermaine Riggins, 65 touchdowns. So some niggas actually got close to that 70. I ain't know niggas was that close to Harvard 70 touchdowns. So that might actually get got. Somebody might catch up to that. Let's see. All right, once we do SEC, I'm gonna get your thoughts. Cause I think that was it, man. We got the Big 12, Big 10, SEC. Let's see. We're gonna go to your conference too, Ken. I want to see. Let's go to that CUSA. See what. MTSU didn't get. I thought y'all would have been on here. I'm pretty sure y'all on some of the season stuff though. Let's see. Well, they took y'all out. I think that's what happened. I think since y'all moved. Oh, so that's who went stupid in the Riggins. He went stupid in the national championship too. I think they took MTSU out of CUSA records because they moved. So, all right, let's go to SEC right quick. Oh shit, let's see. SEC. All right, this is where it gets. All right, so the SEC pass yards. Lenore Sellers, 14,368. The GOAT himself. Heisman winner Sellers. Deion Hatchett receiving yards 4,856. Led to SEC. Then you had Arch Manning touchdowns, pass touchdowns of 139. I'm surprised I didn't see no Ole Miss. I thought Lipton would have been on here for some.
No, you're not gonna see no Ole Miss players. We spread the ball around.
Now hold on now. Lipton should be on. Now wait, I'm gonna wait till I get into some of the
We don't spam
I'm
nobody.
gonna go to some of the individual team stats soon, but you got some guys. I look between Estes and Lipton, they put some numbers up. Let me see.
But you're not gonna see no like Lipton don't have like crazy amount of rush yards, and you're not gonna have a crazy amount of receiving yards. You're gonna have a decent amount. He probably give you 80 receiving yards, give you 80 rushing yards. That add up to like 160, 150.
So let me see. So now Tim Tebow had 57 rush touchdowns, and okay, so I'm gonna look at Ole Miss in a minute. The sacks, bro, by Wendell Gregory, 36 sacks. God damn. Now hold on, let's see. So Louisiana Tech 45 sacks. That was the record. Damn, that's surprised he didn't get that jump, and he a senior too, so he got close to that record. Wendell Gregory did. All right, so let's go to some of these teams first, man. Let's go to Ole Miss first, because I want to see. I know Lipton ate, because that man was here all 4 years too.
I promise you, he probably didn't eat like you think he did.
Damn, Estes led in the rush touchdown, but Estes had 134 pass touchdowns and 49 rush touchdowns for his career.
Yeah, I mean, them ain't crazy numbers though.
So, and Lipton.
What was the record? 88 by a quarterback.
No, Tebow had 50.
No, I'm talking about the nigga from Navy. What he had? 88.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had 88. But the SEC, you almost beat the SEC record. Tebow had 57.
He did.
Let's see. All right, let's go back up right quick. Yeah, Lipton. I knew Lipton and Estes was gonna tell them. Let's see. Estes 12,801 pass yards. Devin Lipton 4,033 rush yards. 261 receptions. Estes led in touchdowns and rush touchdowns. Cam Franklin had 34 sacks. So he almost actually got that SEC record too. Cam Franklin. He had 34 sacks. Gregory had 36. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. You're not gonna find nothing crazy on my team, dude. Like I don't. I found that it works better to not try to force feed a nigga, because then when the playoff hit, niggas tend to take that shit away.
Oh yeah. Now let me go to this Purdue. That's what I really wanted to look at.
And that's where you'll find some niggas getting force fed.
Rush yards, Jaheim Merriweather, 4,138. Did he have more? I thought, let's see, 4,100. Yeah, he had like 100. I thought he would have had way more than lifting on that jump. Receptions, Stubblefield, 325. Rush touchdowns, Merriweather, 50.
Well, you got no Lipton was a 4-year starter, like from day
BSB
one.
said, boy, you crazy as fuck. Them insane numbers.
What number insane?
Bro, that's why Estes numbers are crazy, bro. Like, I ain't saying they cheesy, but them jumps are crazy. Like 134 and 49. Like,
I mean, we
that's
scored, but like it wasn't like he threw a disproportionate amount of touchdowns.
we're gonna have to I'm gonna break it down by season too in a little bit. This is just career.
Yeah, I mean,
Once we finish, let's see, Purdue, Colvin, 35 sacks. I wonder, is that somebody that was on Purdue team? I know Keith ain't breaking Drew Brees pass yards, pass touchdowns though. Let's see, let's go to MTSU, man. I want to see some. I know they had to break some records because I didn't see them on the other thing. Leon Burrs, man, the MT GOAT, 14,000 passing yards. They need to have a year by this too, like the years that they were at the school. Leon Burrs pass touchdowns, 122. His receiving yards, Richie James. That's it, really, for MTSU. I'm surprised MTSU didn't get that interception and that sack record though. I'm surprised Mons wasn't on this jump for interception.
the Mons.
Let's see, they gotta be on the season though, bro. Let me check. Let me look at some of the season stats now. There we go. James Mons, 10 picks, 2026 season. Okay.
That's a record.
Yeah, that was the record for the season. Eric Walden. Now, Eric Walden was a 2006, 12 sacks. Yeah, MTSU, so Burris didn't even break the pass yards for the season. That's still stock still, you know? Okay. All right, let's look at a little bit of these season stats right quick, man. So Burris did do pass touchdowns. He had 33 passing touchdowns in 2027 year. Benny Nagayi, the receiver from MT, he was supposed to win best receiver one year, and I think that's when Oregon jumped ahead of him. But he had 1,800 yards plus 14 touchdown catches in 2027. Let's take a look at some of these Oregon numbers for the season too. Let's see. Ooh, D'Angelo Rochette, 5,900 passing yards in a season.
Come on, man. Now we get talk cheesy.
Shit, almost 6,000. Yeah, he definitely gonna break Kingdom record, bro. He gonna break that. Evan Stewart, I think this was the first year. He had 2,400 yards receiving. Evan Stewart, 28 touchdown catches in a season. 95 receptions in that same season. Dylan Gabriel pass touchdown, 62. Yeah, Oregon putting on some stats on that offense side. Now, PHB got a nigga from 1951 still holding the interception record. Damn, George Shaw.
Killing the CPU over there. Meanwhile, I'm playing. Never mind, go ahead.
Alright, alright, Oregon. Who else? Let's go to Texas, man. Let's see what Texas got for the season so far. Ewers, 5,075 passing yards in year one. 5,000, sheesh. Orange Manning with the touchdown record, 51. Ryan Niblett, 17 touchdown catches, 2026. Jelani McDonald, 12 picks in 2026. Okay. Man, I thought you were going to break that Ricky Williams record. Ricky Williams had 27 touchdowns 1998. Okay. Let's see. All right, I think we did Ole Miss. Look at A.J. Brown. No, actually, we didn't do Ole Miss. You remember Princely? CK?
Who?
Your defensive lineman, Princely?
No.
Actually, I think that was before your that was a 24 year. We started at 25. You remember Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah.
16 touchdown catches. Okay.
Yeah. No, spectacular.
He said, "Ain't no cheese, man. We'll pass first team." Let's see who else. All right, let's look at Tennessee, man. Let's see what we did. Lava, 2026, 4,300 yards. Deion Hatchett. I knew Hatchett name was gonna be on a couple. Self Heron, pass touchdowns, 37. I didn't think he beat that. I didn't think he beat Nico. Okay. Let's see. What else? Who was a team? So we did Purdue, Oregon, Texas, Ole Miss, South Carolina. We got I'm missing. Oh yeah, UCL. That's the last UCL real quick. Ja'Cory Brown, 4,400 pass yards. Then we had Elijah Mays, 1892 receptions, 121. Elijah Mays killed all that. That's crazy. Let's look at what we did at Natty. All right, man. So there was some crazy stats, bro. So what I want to do now, after kind of going through the stats, is I'm gonna talk about. Oh yeah, we do need to do Arizona. I forgot. You're right. We did UCL. We need to do Arizona too. Let's see, Arizona. I know Kaler up here on some stuff. Yeah, Ezekiel Kaler receiving yards 2,081 in 2025. Let's see, well, touchdown catches 18 in 2025. Let's look at some. Actually, bro, you know what? Let's see what niggas did in a game. That's how you really.
Oh shit!
Damn.
734.
Nick Harbor had 6 touchdown catches in the game. Braswell 15 receptions in the game. Nick Harbor 345 yards in the game. Stepanvich 523 passing yards. Shit. Okay. Let's see what you did, CK.
I'm scared.
You ain't break no game records.
I know it.
I say he was scared. I know I got at least some on the. Oh, I think I broke touchdown catches record 4 with Caleb Webb.
I'm sorry, Dad. Nigga want me to cheese a little bit. I can.
Let's see. Let's look at Oregon. Dante Moore pass yard 626. Evan Stewart receiving yard 373. Dylan Gabriel.
Oh boy.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Nah, that was the year before, you know, because I thought that too, but we started in 2025. We had 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I think those were the 5 years. Purdue. Ahmad Branch, 324. Purdue. If it do, then let's see. I'm trying to see what I could do to 2024. Yeah, because Dylan Gabriel had 7 here. Okay. So yeah, I think you had 7 with Dart then. It's the championships, I think, that go like that. But you did have 7 pass touchdowns with Dart in the first year. CK.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was the same year Gabriel. That was the same year Gabriel had 7 too. So yeah, the stats are showing the stats are showing the 2024 year. That was a playable year. But not too bad though. Just one number right now. Let me go to UCF games. I'm actually shocked, bro. So Kobe Hudson got 317 receiving yards in 2024, but no one else broke that jump. Elijah Mays never broke it, which is crazy. Ain't this the same Dylan Gabriel that was in Oregon? That's at UCF? Or that's a different one? He was at UCF in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. All right, what's another one, man? Let's see. I feel like I'm missing some season team. Let's go Texas for the season 2. And then we're going to start talking about a couple other things. Ewers, 2024, 539 yards. Whew. Yeah, that was the same Dylan Gabriel. I didn't even know that. Jelani McDonald. I know Jelani McDonald had some games because I remember seeing that nigga all the time. 5 picks in one game.
Dang.
Okay. All right, let's see if anybody broke any national records before we get out here. Let's see. So the only person that broke a national record was Wisconsin. Man, they had to been against a user, bro. 7 sacks from Nick
Damn.
Hope. Bro, I need that had to be against a user, bro. All right, man. So now I'm finna do a question round with you, CK, since you done won as I was gonna do it for whoever was on. So first thing I want to ask, who was the most surprising team in these 5 years? Who would you say was the most surprising team? They could be good or bad. Most surprising. I'm gonna ask you really. Let's just split it up. Who was your most surprising best team this year in the first 5 seasons? I mean,
Most surprising best team. I would have to say, based on the first 5 years of performance, most surprising best team. Well, all right. So initially I wanted to say Arizona, but because somehow, but then again I have to take that back because they were getting a lot of help from the CPU and somehow getting these guys in the natty in the CFP when they shouldn't have been in. So I kept being surprised at how he kept making the CFP, if that makes sense. When I didn't think he was gonna make it every year. But off a gameplay perspective, I would say my most surprising is probably UCF in the first 5 seasons. In a good way. They haven't been able to get the job done, but you know they made the Natty 3 times and they've always been competitive. So you know got some conference championships too. So I thought it might take them a little bit longer to get to the Natty consistently. I would easily put them number 1 if they actually won one, but you know that's tough to do.
okay.
So yeah, so probably UCF most surprising in
I can see UCF being most surprising winning this team because they ended up. I mean, let's just talk a quick resume. 3rd best win percentage as a coach, 2nd best record career wise, 2nd time for
But I also have
second
to
most.
take that into account that what conferences they in. 'Cause
That's
they're not
true
playing
too.
nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to be fair, he not playing nobody. And his
That's true
CFP
too.
record is 7-5, which isn't outstanding, but it's a winning record. And you like you said, you got the appearances, but at the same time, he only was playing like call out. I mean, and then maybe you throw in a regular season game in the beginning of the season, but you know, I think it's way more impressive. Like not to my horn, but just saying that I'm in the SEC and I got the most wins in the league. So I feel like that's way more difficult to do than playing in what conference? That Big 10, Big 12.
Yeah, the Big 12. No,
Big 12, yeah.
the Big 12. I was gonna go with mine was gonna be MT, and because I really like MT's record. I know it don't really show it on this. It say record versus top 25, 5-7, but they got a 4-3 bowl record. They got a 2-2 playoff record, and this is the team that essentially came from really nothing. Like legitimately, like this is the worst team in the started off as the worst team in the franchise. So I would say they were surprisingly good early. I thought this was a team that was going to be good eventually, but I didn't think they would have as many big time wins like they do. Like they've beaten Texas a couple times. They've beaten Purdue. They've beaten didn't they beat Oregon in the
Yeah, they beat
season?
Oregon
Yeah,
one
they beat
time.
Oregon in the season. So I mean they got a lot of respectable W's too, coming from a place where they really didn't start out, playing anybody. So I think, not really factoring in, conference record and stuff like that, even though they did start dominating their conference towards the end. I do think, but they only got one conference championship too. So I think that
Yeah, I took
conference
that into
was,
account.
yeah, that conference was, I was expecting them to have more conference championships. I think when it got to the end, they had some, man, it was just some teams that was playing crazy though. Um, but I think I'll say, MTSU is probably I would say surprisingly most impressive just because of how soon they were able to kind of get some of those big wins too. They kind of pushed them into that top 10, top 15 ranking on a consistent basis too. So I'll go with that.
Mhm.
Who would you say is your surprisingly worst team? Like the worst team that you weren't
Uh,
expecting to be like that first 5 years?
okay, so I guess I have to answer this question based on the way you asked it. You said a surprise, somebody who I wasn't expecting to
Mm-hmm.
underperform. And so based on that, I have to go South Carolina. The way that they perform in the CFP, with one win in 5 seasons is not what I was expecting, especially based on the fact that, he's able to compete so well during the regular season. And then, the SEC championships, the three he got. It just seems like his gimmicks work during the season, but then like in the playoffs, they kind of, by the time we make it to the CFP, it's kind of like, okay, we figured out what you want to do, and it's not really a different adjustment made, and so I think that's kind of translated into his underperformance in the CFP is because we kind of know we get Nick Harbor, you know what I mean? We kind of know we getting Sellers, you know what I mean? We kind of know who we getting, and if you can kind of focus on taking that away or whatever that goal that receiver, what was that receiver this year? That he kept throwing the bombs to.
Yeah, Killer Brew.
Kill, yeah,
This
kill.
year.
We know we getting Kill Brew. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like I think that's been. I would have to go with them as the most surprising underperformer.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one because they got three conference championships in the SEC. So, starting out, I thought South Carolina would probably get one of the first ones. At least when they had Harbor, probably like in that year two or year three or something like that, or probably in that year two. I don't think he had them year three. But that Sellers Braswell duo they were legit, but it seemed like when it got to the playoffs, it was like I don't know. That's when teams are kind of game planning for whatever you do during the season. They game planning for it. So
Hmm.
I think South Carolina is when we talk about teams, the next 4 or 5 seasons or however many we go, I think that's gonna be a team to look out for though. I will say that. But I think I
Yeah, I
got
think
them
if
on
he
my
can make
list too.
adjustments, yeah, I think if he can make adjustments in the postseason, that it could be a lot different. But I think he kind of finds something that works, and like I said, just go like I think he threw that bit to Kill Brew no matter what. You know what I mean? I think Rico was on him like double teaming one time. He still threw it to him. So it's like sometimes we good enough to where we gonna take away what you do best in the playoff.
Hmm.
So you can't afford to really just spam one guy.
Yeah. Another team. I think I got South Carolina still number one, but Texas is on my list too, because um,
Hmm.
I think they had a below 500 playoff record with one of the better teams. Like this is a team that they got a great pipeline for Texas. They started out with a great squad too, and they had great quarterbacks to start. They had Ewers and Arch, and so this is a team that
Hmm.
seemed like they did pretty well during the season, but then underperformed come playoff time. And then they even won a conference championship too in the SEC. So they get a lot of draft picks. They have 28 draft picks, which is fourth most. in the league. So that's another team that I felt they were kind of surprisingly worse. I mean, when you look at career record, they right there, with me in Georgia and South Carolina. So I don't know. That was a team that I was expecting to, especially with those quarterbacks that they had. Like I had Nico, and one thing I wanted to do was try to maximize having that elite QB, while he was here. So I was kind of
Mhm.
expecting the same thing with Texas, with either Arch or Ewers.
Yeah, I can understand that. I just the only reason I didn't pick them is because I just wasn't that surprised.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, otherwise I would have picked Texas, but I didn't
okay,
really expect him to do too much in the CFP.
okay. All right. Next question I got for you. You can't pick yourself, but if you were to say
Mm.
you can't pick yourself, but let's say you expect someone to win back-to-back titles in year 6 and year 7, who would it be and why?
Oh man, back to back titles and I can't pick myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well I can't. I'm not gonna go Oregon because that means that nigga would have three-peated, and I'm just not putting that out there. Um, who? Back to back titles. I would have to go. So this is a question I have to answer based on consistency. And if I'm not gonna pick myself, then I have to pick the only team that I know has been to who's gonna get to the natty to give himself the opportunity. Even if he lose, even if he keep, even if he keep losing that motherfucker, uh, I gotta pick UCF just because they know how to get there. Maybe this nigga can figure out how to close the deal, but he has demonstrated that he can keep getting there. So, I just go from a based on, sheer like, okay, who's been the most consistent, like in giving themselves the opportunity to, you know, uh, go back to back outside of myself.
Mm. Okay.
So I
Yeah,
have to
I was
go.
kind of thinking that too. My pick was either gonna be UCF or shoot, man, I don't know, probably mm, if I had to pick, and I can't pick myself, I say UCF because, like you said, they made 3 straight. But also I say I say Ole Miss. I can pick you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss, mainly because the recruiting that y'all got coming in, and I think over time, I think that's gonna start showcasing a bit more and more, like these recruiting classes, like these guys that are going into like their sophomore, junior years and stuff like that. Like some classes aren't
Mhm.
always the best, but there's certain classes too that are just they crazy. So
Yeah.
if you had a great class around that time frame, I'm expecting some guys to pop, and your team being good enough to really, sometimes your team can be better enough to sometimes withstand some of the stuff that kind of happens in the game on a game to game basis. So I think
Yeah.
shit, you talk about Ventura, he's just a sophomore, shit. So
That's my boy.
yeah, you got a lot of guys that I think are probably going to end up staying on board and getting better. Um, so I would
Yeah,
say that
and
that's likely to see
yeah,
that.
I can understand that. I mean, I got what? So I'm 11-3 in the CFP, and my two losses. Well, I'm not even gonna count the one at Oklahoma because I wasn't even. I was in Memphis that time. Like I had my lag and all that bullshit. But the two other losses were to UCF, and they both were games where I had the lead with less than like 10 seconds left, and this nigga scored at the fucking buzzer. So it could really be a whole different narrative. You know what I mean? Like I'm a game winning a couple of game winning plays away from being in 4 straight title games.
Mm.
Um, so it's kind of frustrating, but hey man, it's how the game rolls sometimes.
Okay, okay. Now, next question gonna be which team that hasn't won yet, and I guess you can't say UCF now, but a team that, or let's say something different. A team that hasn't made it to the Natty at all. Let's say a team that hasn't made it to the Natty, and you expect them to at least win one within these next 3 seasons. Who would you say is that one team?
Uh, I mean, based on, like I said, so this, the question you said, based on how surprised I was at South Carolina underperforming, I have expectations for them to be able to get to a natty. So that would probably be the one team in the same breath where I say, all right, in the next 3 years, like you need to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? And because you got the pieces in the regular season to beat, you know, just about any user. But you just kind of not putting it together in the CFP. So I think
Mm,
he probably got the best shot to put together a string of few good games and get there. Within the next, you said next 3 seasons, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he got the recruits and the bodies, and you know his team overall good enough. So and he gets battle tested every year in the SEC. So he's probably the one user that hasn't been to a natty that I think could get there. Just if he made, just like I said, some minor adjustments
Mm,
to his play style.
okay. I'm gonna go with MTSU.
Oh yeah, I knew you was going there.
I'm gonna go MTSU. I was gonna go with Texas, but
Boy.
I think I think I'll say MTSU for a couple things. They've been getting better every year, seem like it. Um, I think this was their first year in the Big Ten. They were able to beat a lot. They had a lot of I guess big games at home, but also they were able to beat a lot of those, you know, elite level prestige teams too. And then also it seems like they don't have a lot of seniors leaving. Um, that was one thing that sometime, you know, like last year I had 22 seniors that left Tennessee, and so I know this season and the next couple years are gonna be just years of these guys getting better now because a lot of my seniors are gone. So usually when you can
Hmm.
have a lot of returning players too, I think that's something to be said. I just think the only question mark is what they're gonna do at QB. Um, because you know Bird's been kind of running the show for a while now, but they got Paul Cross and Gil Stowe, and they got a couple other guys that they may decide to step in. But I would say that Burris is he's probably gonna be an important piece for them, you know, moving
Yeah,
forward.
sure. Yeah, I can see MTSU. That was gonna be my second choice if I didn't pick South Carolina. It would have immediately have been MTSU. The only thing that made me hesitant was that I'm looking at the CFP and I you know we haven't really seen MTSU beat the better users. You know, beating Texas, beating Purdue, South Carolina, in the CFP with a 1-4 record. You know what I mean? I haven't seen the impressive wins on the big stage
Hmm.
yet. He continues to get better though, of course, but you know, so far, like in the conference championship, Oregon won, in the CFP, Oregon won. You beat them. I beat them. The I haven't seen him beat the real contenders yet, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, and so that's probably what I would want to see before I was ready to say I can see him go and make it. Because when you go and win a natty, you gonna have to beat some nigga. You know what I mean? Like you want to beat a couple of the top guys.
Yeah.
Um, so not the not the not the not the quality wins that he's gotten so far, which are quality wins, but like I said, it's just we haven't seen those guys be competitive.
Yep. Okay. I think that's fair. That's fair. Okay. So I gotta step away in a little bit. Is there anything before we end that you wanna? Any questions you got before we jump off this jump?
No, I think
I think we
yeah, I
went
think that was
through.
a pretty good question.
I think we went through the majority. I think it's gonna be a
Oh, who's
good.
your Heisman candidate for next season?
Mm, the QB from Oregon, Rashad or Rashad.
Mm.
I think. Let me hold on. Let me just do a double quick take.
double quick take.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's gonna be the guy. Either that or Killebrew.
Hmm.
Let me see who you got out there.
I ain't got
I was
no.
gonna say Lipton, but Lipton gone
Yeah,
after this
Lipton
year.
gone. I ain't got nobody really. I got a bunch of. I really was slick rebuilding this year.
See, I think
Uh,
it's gonna be Killebrew because he a sophomore right now. He gonna be a junior next year, and he already at 87. So I think he gonna be like a 93,
Lord.
95 plus or something like that. And he already 99 speed, 99 acceleration with 90 catching, 94
Yeah, I could
spectacular catch.
see
So
that. See that can be a blessing and a curse, man. Cause like when you got guys that good, it's like you feel obligated to use them, and it becomes that's how he ends up becoming predictable. Is because like the guy's so good, you feel like you got to get him involved, and that's what everybody game planning for.
yeah, that's true. But hey, to get that Heisman, you just gotta run through the
Yeah.
season.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
well yeah,
feel,
he can get the Heisman, yeah for sure. I don't doubt that they can get the
you know,
Heisman. I just hope he can adjust, once the CFP hit and niggas try to take him away.
Keno said Keon Peacock,
Who is that?
his receiver, the one that his fast receiver, Keon Peacock.
Mm.
If he get better, what's he a freshman? He got star development too. Yeah, he might. I just don't, man. I'm gonna go with Oregon QB or Killebrew. I just feel like them guys, they gonna put up some big numbers. Like Oregon already said they pushing for the record. So those
Hmm.
are my two picks. Who you got?
I honestly haven't looked at everybody's rosters well enough to pick, but I do think it'll probably be Oregon QB or I think Keith is gonna try to go crazy with this 5-star running back. So I
Oh
guess it's a
yeah,
matter of how many games he win.
yeah,
But if he win enough games, I think he'll be right there in the mix because I think he's gonna abuse this guy
yeah.
until he got nothing left.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that too. All right, man. Okay. But it was a good review show, man. Hopefully we'll have a few more guys on for the next one.
And
Um,
be on the lookout for a Carlock freshman too. I don't know who all he got, but he was excited about his offense, so he
mm,
normally like to get a guy and use him pretty heavily, whether
okay.
it be a
Yeah, that's
wide
somebody.
receiver or quarterback.
We're gonna have to look at that beginning of next season. Start talking about some of these incoming freshmen or some of these previous red shirt guys that's expecting to make an impact too. So we're gonna probably have another show. I'll say maybe shoot probably by the end of this week or something, this weekend, something like that. Talk about the off
Hmm.
season and stuff.
Yes,
Cool,
sir.
cool. All right, fellas. Appreciate it, CK. Holla back.